Welcome to my channel. Here, we address the issue of prescribed racism. So here we go. Prescribed racism, a modern form of division. Prescribed racism refers to the systemic and institutional endorsement of racial division through laws, policies, and cultural practices. While these structures claim to address inequality, they often deepen societal divides. An emerging example of this phenomenon is diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) initiatives, which, though marketed as tools for promoting racial harmony, may foster division and mistrust. The DEI paradox, promoting inclusion or creating division. DEI training programs have become increasingly common in schools, workplaces, and government agencies, presented as necessary measures to combat systemic racism. However, these programs may achieve the opposite effect by creating a climate of coercion and suspicion. Instead of appealing to our shared humanity and better natures, DEI frameworks often rely on accusatory narratives. They suggest that individuals who do not constantly perceive racism in every situation are themselves complicit in racism. Manipulation. Disguised as training. DEI sessions are often framed as educational but may, in fact, function as unlicensed attempts at psychological intervention. These programs use psychological techniques to elicit feelings of guilt, shame, or discomfort, often labeling dissent or critical perspectives as evidence of unconscious bias or racism. Participants are subtly or overtly coerced into compliance with the ideology, further fostering resentment and mistrust. Mandatory participation raises legal and ethical concerns. Many workplaces enforce mandatory attendance at DEI training sessions, which often consist of psychological video series and exercises to reshape individuals' beliefs and behaviors. If these sessions amount to psychological treatment without proper licensing, it raises serious legal and ethical questions. The lack of professional oversight exposes employees to manipulation under the guise of education. This calls for strengthening state and federal civil rights laws to protect individuals from coercive psychological practices. Rather than fostering unity, mandatory DEI programs may divide participants along racial and ideological lines, deepening grievances and perpetuating a narrative of victimhood and guilt. How DEI reinforces prescribed racism. Rather than eliminating systemic bias, DEI programs may unintentionally institutionalize new forms of discrimination. Labeling and division, DEI emphasizes group identity over individual merit, promoting policies like race-based hiring quotas or affinity groups, which can alienate employees and perpetuate racial stereotypes. Guilt-based compliance. Participants are often encouraged to engage in public displays of repentance, reinforcing that specific individuals are inherently privileged or guilty by association, us versus them. Mentality. Instead of promoting genuine dialogue, DEI programs sometimes accuse dissenters of being racist, fostering a climate of fear and division rather than understanding. Conclusion. Rethinking DEI and prescribed racism. DEI, marketed as a solution for racial harmony, may exacerbate the problem of prescribed racism by institutionalizing divisive ideologies and psychological manipulation. These programs often substitute genuine understanding with coerced conformity, alienating participants rather than uniting them. As a society, we must be vigilant against using unlicensed psychological practices in the workplace and elsewhere. Strengthening civil rights protections is essential to ensure that individuals are not subjected to mandatory coercive programs that only deepen social divides. In seeking genuine racial harmony, we should reject divisive frameworks and pursue policies and conversations that foster respect for individual dignity and shared humanity. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I will see you in the comments.